morning, Forex friends and family. FXWithTerry.com. Friday, March 8th. Non-farm payroll goes off in 14 minutes. That's what we're going to start with. I'm going to do some talking up to that point. I'm going to do some drinking from my trusted cup. It's fine. I'm fine. Everything is fine. So join me here. I want to go slow. I've been up all night looking at this stuff, thinking about what the market's doing, thinking about my feed, thinking about how people perceive it. During those times I come up with the best ideas, the best concepts. And I've got all kinds of things that I can throw at you. It's only in tough, tumultuous times do you have, or at least, I won't even go there. It's only in tough, tumultuous times do you have any good ideas. From adversity comes opportunity. That's it. That's been my entire life. I don't know about you, but from adversity comes opportunity. I am watching one of my most important accounts here. You can see it on the screen. This is essentially a hedge fund account. I'm in the same trades. This is USD JPY. It has it's pulling back towards profit for us, and I'm just watching it. The take profit's way up there. In fact, I could probably draw on the screen here. Let's see. The take profit is up here, and let's go look at some charts. Let's talk about the concept of what's going on. First thing I will do is share. Let's see. I will share this with you. There we go. 6:30 a.m. for me, that's 12 minutes from now, and that's actually 8:30 a.m. New York time, because we got non-farm payroll would be the major news. There's other news coming out, 3 different news announcements that will probably be negative, and CAD. So guess what? USD CAD that we are in, and I could probably glance at that. Let me see if this, let me go to an account where we're in that trade. We got just a little bit of time here. Stand by, let me think. USD CAD. I'm just going to look at the chart and I'll pull it up here in case we need it. Let's see, what is USD CAD doing this morning? It's pushed right down here. I'll share this real quick. The USD CAD has pushed right down. I know, all the clapping in the morning, right? It just gets your attention. It has pushed right down, and it's been hovering right there. We've got a little bit of a wick, and you'll notice if we roll to the left here, we're potentially at some support area. So all we can do is hope that it's going to go up from here. I don't know what the news is going to do. I would suspect, if we zoom in here, that the news is probably going to push it down, and then we have to come back towards our take profit, because if you look at this daily candle, because of what's called imbalance right here, okay, the market has moved away from this area right here. It's moved away and it has not come back. That means the people that are manipulating and moving the money, they're in drawdown, because they had to dump a lot of money in there and have it go against them. So that's the general consensus. But I don't do any analysis like that until I'm already in a trade. So you won't see me on blank charts telling you what the price is going to do. No, I don't give a shit. It doesn't matter. I'm in a trade, right? I trade. So if you got anything this morning, I'm here live on YouTube. If you got anything, you better be hitting me up in the comments. You better be live in the comments saying something. So let me go back to the other account, because what I really want to do, and it's tough, we can't like watch every chart all at once. I really want to watch, I'm not as worried about this one in my account, right? Not as worried about this one as I am. Let's go back to the account that I want to watch, which I said is USD JPY, which is feeling pretty good. If I look at the 30-minute chart, which is right here. So I'm just going to set that up here. and let's go over. News goes off in 9 minutes. So again, we already looked at the news site. What I'm going to do is take us. I've got this chart open. We're looking at USD JPY here, but I believe I'm going to actually, just before the news goes off, I'm going to jump up to my. Let me make sure the sound's still working. Yeah, I'm going to jump up to my VPS. So let's take a look at this, for example. USD JPY. Everybody's shitting themselves over this, okay? It was basically in a consolidation zone. I'm looking at the 5-minute chart. And then we had this huge drop. That's just the news anticipation. It did a huge drop. It's going sideways. We're going to see what's going to happen. It's either going to drop farther, or it may go to the bottom of this wick over here, or it may go up. Who knows, right? Like, I'm not saying that I know. So I'm not going to give you all the different options, and then when one of them happens, say, well, I said that. No, I don't know. You don't know. We don't know. That's why we watch it. And the more you watch this stuff, I would assume it's going to be probably negative. I would assume it's probably going to shoot down, but we'll see. So again, sipping on a little bit of coffee. Take our time here. Let me share this with you. So, like I said, it's been consolidating. It's shot down. We'll see what's going to happen. But I'm not going to watch this. We'll come back and look at it. In fact, let's draw a line where the price is right now. Let's do. We'll do horizontal line here, just right like where the price is right now. Right. That looks pretty good. That's pretty close. So we'll leave that line there. We'll see where it goes from there. It's dipping below it a little bit right now, but I'm going to go up to my VPS in the cloud here. And I've got a couple things I want to watch. Can't watch everything at once, right? But what we're looking at here is US 30. If I scroll a little bit to the left, we're looking at USD JPY. That's what I really want to keep an eye on, just for my own self and my own trades. And then Euro USD, I've got it open here. I've got some test trades going on a demo account here. And Euro USD has, this is, 15-minute chart. It's already pushing up in anticipation. So, that means the US dollar's going down, the euro's going up, right? So I think I'm gonna watch this as the news goes off. So 4 or 6 minutes to go. In my particular case, I really don't want to see it go below whatever these wicks are here, these lowest wicks. Let me actually remove this volume profile indicator. Let's see. Let's do it this way. That must be something in the template. I got some weird ass template on here. Hold on a second. Let's see. Oh, it has its standard volumes. There you go. Okay. So, and again, we're live. I don't know how well you can see this. Let me see if I can move this over to the middle of the screen here. We're just watching. 6 minutes to go. I'm going to, let me see if I can pull up a clock here. There we go. So 5 minutes. Well, it doesn't even have a second hand on it. What's up with that, man? Here, I got a second hand on my phone, but I can't look at that because I want to look at the chart. So nonetheless, here we are. We're going to see what this news push does. All I can do is hope at this point, right? I just hope it doesn't go past this wick down here. It certainly could and probably will. But what will happen at that point is I'm going to actually be looking at my one live hedge fund account and just make sure that it doesn't go too far. So let me answer something that someone had said. Keep watching the clock here. In fact, I'm going to look at the second hand. So 4 minutes. Yeah, 4 minutes to go. So someone said, as example, the USD JPY trade, we're in, and I'm making up some general numbers here, we're in 15 trades. Okay? The person said, well, why is the latest one in profit and the oldest one not? How can that be? And I'm like, well, listen, not to be a dick, but you just have no idea what's going on. So do me a favor, practice. Now that person jumped in, did a live account day one, and wonders why the first trade is in drawdown and the last trade, the most recent trade, is in profit. I'm like, that's how it moves, right? We scale into these trades. We'll go back and we'll look at some of that stuff, but I just want to be ready for the news thing here and not get sidetracked. So look at this. USD JPY is pushing hard down. And we've got coming up on 3 minutes. Coming up on 3 minutes. Let me pull up my chart on my end here. Yeah, it's pushing back down. So, that may be an indication that once the news goes off, it's going to push really hard. So in this particular account that I'm trading, I'm at 280% margin level. So why does any of us let it get to that point? There's such a mindset around Forex trading that people just can't grasp. So the problem is, let's say you take my system and you start taking my trades and you take them for 90 days. And we're in favorable market conditions. You're like, holy crap, this thing just keeps winning. So each week you up your bid. Each week you up your bid. I see everybody do this. Well, I started at the minimum bid. They got like $1,000 account. I'm going to go ahead and up it. Okay. They come to me again. I'm going to up it again. How do I do that? I'm like, well, here's how you do it. And then I'll guarantee you 3 weeks, 4 weeks, 6 weeks, 8 weeks later, 3 months later, they're like, they just send me a screenshot. Their account is $0 now. And they're like, what happened? And I'm like, you're the one that asked my advice up front and said, here's where you should be on a small account. And 3 months later, you're 5, 10x of that? It was hanging. You were making some good money, weren't you? You were like, oh my God, this is a holy grail. And then we get a day like this where we get candle, candle, candle. Let me look at the time here. Coming up on 1 minute. So let's watch this. So you get down push, down push, down push here, and they're like, what happened? I mean, that's what happened. So what you need to do, if you survived for 90 days, being a degenerate gambler and overbidding, you've got to learn something from this one day when the market does this to you. And that means you got to start back at the beginning and go, okay, I'm going to anticipate this day. I'm going to anticipate it. Coming up on 45 seconds for the news launches. Just watch this candle. Pay attention to where it's at. I think it's going to go apeshit, but you never know. Sometimes the news launches and it doesn't do anything. 30 seconds. We are on the NF, and I'm going to be switching back and forth between Euro USD and US 30. I just need to see what's going on, and switching back and forth to my particular account, which I'm also looking at. Five seconds. Pushing up, pushing way up. I'm happy with that. I'm real happy with that. Pushing nice. Please keep going up. Prayers for up. Doesn't mean it couldn't come back down. Wow, that's amazing. I really thought we were going to get a bunch of negative. That's probably why they tanked it. Well, we got a huge wick. Who knows where it's going now? This could end up going down. I'm going to jump over to US 30 real quick. Not affecting it too bad. Ooh, got a huge down wick, huge up wick. Now it's coming down. Here it is. This is going to be the painful part. Let me go look at my margin level percent. 270. 270. Ooh, it's pushing hard down. Yep, just like we thought. So they took everyone out on the upside, and now they're going down. 270 on my margin level. 269. 268. I'm feeling okay. Probably a lot of people hurting right now. $267% margin level. going to be painful. Still hanging in there, though. See, I stopped taking trades at a decent margin level percent, so even though it's pushing that hard on me, I'm still at 268% margin level. There's some other accounts that I have, like demos and test accounts. I don't want to look at those. But, you know, again, they're demo and test accounts. That's why you do it. Getting a wick, getting a pullback, margin level percent is increasing by a couple percent. That push down probably took out a lot of people. Let me look at a demo account that I was trading. Oh, USD CAD is doing okay. I don't have that up, but I'm looking at it on another chart here. Let's see what it did to my US 30 account. Oh, lost my ass on that one. Just lost $3,443. Beautiful. But, you know, I've been maxing out, pushing all of these accounts. Let me look at another one here. The rest of them are doing good. These are the market conditions you have to bid for. If you don't pay attention, if you don't take losses on a day like this or come right up against limits, you will never learn. You just never will. Let me go look at my main account here. Still 270% margin level. All right, we're good. It's still just kind of going up and down. What are we, 3 minutes in? You must trade for these scenarios. Now, once this news is over, I'm going to throw a bunch of different trade management and feed possibility ideas and ways to trade at you, because my mind's been going crazy for that stuff. Look at that wick. Look at that wick on a standard pair. USD JPY. US 30. Yeah, that lost me about $3,000 right there. But look at it. Now it's going way the hell up. They took us out. Wow, US 30 is going way up. What did Euro USD do? Look what Euro USD did. Holy shit. Let me get rid of that volume. Pushed way up. Pushed way down. Now it's just, this was an entire liquidity grab. Like everything right here is pure bank hedge fund manipulation, 100%. You should ask, let's just ask some intelligent questions that have to be answered. And I'm not saying I necessarily know what the answer is. But given a system like ours, a system like mine, we knew non-farm payroll was coming. We know it's coming the first Friday of every month, right? In this case, it was the second Friday of the month because the first Friday landed on the first. For some reason, they didn't like that. So how do you avoid days like this? Well, you don't trade the US dollar on anything. One thing I have not looked at, which we probably should, let me do this in the background. Let me do this in the background. Well, I was in an NAS 100 trade. It ended up with a couple $100 profit. Let me look at what gold did on a chart off screen here, so stand by. Yeah, gold pushed way up. Way up. But nobody should have really been trading that anyway around the news. So now it's coming back down. Again, I'm looking at a bunch of different accounts here, so just kind of bear with me. The main account I was watching here is 270% margin level. So the way to avoid this stuff is to plan way ahead for it. Okay? Out of the 22 currency pairs that we trade, and the reason that I don't just force this upon you, I send the trades out. I have a feed, and it's the same thing. Like, I don't want to try to anticipate what your account size is, what your leverage is, what your risk appetite is. I'm not trying to anticipate that, because I would end up sending a feed out to somebody that works really well on a $10,000 account and doesn't work good on a $1,000 account. My feed, my trade should work on every size account from $1,000 on up, given the fact that you have to, specifically manage it and, for example, manipulate it. If you have a $1,000 account, should you be taking all 22 currency pairs? You probably shouldn't. If you have a $1,000 account, should you be bidding more than the base lot size? You probably shouldn't. Do people? Hell yeah, they do. Someone in the group said, well, that didn't help. Well, we didn't think it was going to help. It actually, like in my particular accounts, I took some losses on other accounts that, listen, I know. I'm not like, well, what happened? I'm like, I was bidding insane amounts, right? We all do it. I'm not guilty or not guilty. I'm just doing it. But I will tell you this, on my large accounts, on my hedge fund accounts, on maybe prop accounts, all of this stuff, let's just say all of it, I don't care specific accounts, all of this has to be a conservative approach. It has to be, how do I bid to survive a day like this, but also bid and make the level that I want inside of the given current market conditions. The problem is, I would say this, you really want my opinion? The moment you go for more than about 5% a month gain, you are taking major risk. I know people out there that are doing 20-25% plus a month with this system. They probably are losing it all today. But I'll give you an example. You could put my entire 22 pair feed at the minimum lot size on a $10,000 account and do 5% a month all day long. You could, for example, knowing that non-farm payroll comes out the first Friday of every month, 2 weeks out you could go, okay, I'm going to stop trading any USD pairs. There's a lot of other pairs that we trade, of the 22. Here's another truth, and I'm starting to throw all these different options at you. You could take one currency pair and trade any, I don't care if you have a $1,000 account or a $100,000 account or $1 million account. You could trade one currency pair and do extremely well. Why would you do extremely well with that? Well, you're not in the market you're not over trading. You certainly could overbid, but you probably won't. You'll be focusing on that currency pair, breathing in and out. You're paying attention to that currency pair. You're paying attention to news announcements. Maybe you shouldn't trade that pair. Maybe you should reduce your bid. Maybe you should stop the auto trader when the news launches, right? I will tell you this, guys, whether you wanted me to or not, or whether you did or not, I turned USD JPY off during this news event because it would have went into half a dozen more trades, right? So we're at where we're at. It is what it is. In fact, I turned a bunch of pairs off. You don't need to know that. You don't need any of those trades at the top of the bottom of the push for that particular currency pair. You don't need them. I think I turned AUD CAD off. I turned USD CAD off. I'm trying to think of another one I might have turned off. I think that's about it. But, you wouldn't know, but you certainly don't want trades at this point because you might want to trade, like, you might want to do a buy right now, let's say, on USD JPY. I'm not saying to do that. But, when it's already pushed to it, but it might continue to go farther and farther and farther and farther. Who knows? Who knows? So I'm at 267% margin level. It's holding pretty good. You want to know why it's holding pretty good? And your account may be also. I turned the auto system off because it's going to continue to push and take trades and bring that take profit closer We don't actually need it to do that on one of these huge manipulation candles. We only need it to do it at normal, normal pricing volatility. Pushing hard, 266% margin level for me. So let's talk about, and what I'm going to say is all conceptual. So we're talking about my trades, right? When I say my trades, they're coming from an automated AI feed that I receive the raw feed, and then I send it out to you in a lot of different ways. So I manipulate it. So for example, I send out the free Forex signals directly from that feed. I just have an AI system that says only trade these pairs and send them out one at a time, right? So it doesn't overwhelm the free system. Somebody said in the group, hey, those free trades, maybe I should start trading those pairs because I won every one of those and none of them went against me. Yeah, because they're low volatility pairs, they're slow movers. I mean, it's common sense, right? And you're like, wow, every one of these win. Not knowing that there's currency pairs like USD JPY or GBP JPY that will blow you out in one move, like it's trying to do right now. You don't know that. So guess what? How you know that? You trade on demo and you practice. How many people come into my auto trader having never traded Forex before? They simply see all of the results in the group, everybody crushing it, sharing the results. They open up a $300 live account. They put my live system on it at a 10x bid, and 2 days later wonder what happened. I think, frankly, people, I don't want that to happen, but I need to start letting go of worrying about it happening. I'm like, that don't make sense. Just like someone said, we're in 10 trades on USD JPY. Why is the first one we went into in drawdown and the last one we went into in profit? I'm like, really? There's just some common sense there, but I get that people don't know that. I mean, how can the price have moved away from the original trade and it not be in a little bit of negative? But as the price moves back in waves, because it does, higher highs, higher lows, lower highs, lower highs, lower highs, lower lows, whatever the case may be, as it waves up and down, it always comes back and hits our take profit. As long as we're adding trades, increasing, how do you bring the take profit closer to where you're at? You add a new trade and you increase the bid. That's it. The more you increase the bid, the more that take profit comes closer to you mathematically. It just does. So here's an example of one manipulation that I'm almost considering for myself, but I was telling people in a group, I said, if I do this, no one would ever want it. But if they look at the numbers after 12 months, they'd be like, why haven't you given us that, right? People, for some reason, need a lot of trades. I have people sign up for the auto feed, and if they don't have a trade within 2 hours, they're like, this is not working. I'm considering canceling. And I'm like, okay. I'm just going to stop worrying about that stuff and go, okay, you're canceled. Sorry to bother you. Click, block, buy, move on, right? Because I know it works, but I can't spend 10 hours educating somebody on how it works per se. That and here's a new implementation I'm making today. Everybody, for some reason, wants to private message me and discuss their particular account, and I'm going to force everyone, people that do that, I'm going to force you to go to the open chat area so the entire group can support me and support us and engage with these people, because everybody's doing it private with me, which is fine. The only reason you should be private messaging me is if you have to pass me some sort of personal information, code, phone number, password, login, so I can check your account, whatever the case may be. I'm basically going to say, unless we're doing that, we're having a conversation in the open chat, because everybody needs to see it, right? Everybody can learn from everybody else. Looks like the price is going to pull back a little bit. I mean, I want to say that's as far as it's going to go. We are getting some pullback, though, so we'll see. So let me give you a high-level manipulation as we continue to watch this. We may or may not look at the different accounts today in this live session, because I really wanted to focus on this. What's going on, you know, with current pricing. Let me give you an example of a manipulation, and if you guys have any sort of interest, I probably should look at something here. Stand by. If you guys have any sort of interest, and I do see you guys in the comments, so we'll stick here on this chart for now so I can see the comments. Derek says, it seemed like the USD really tanked after Uncle Joe made his rant. Well, of course it did. Right? Doug says, morning, good morning. Jamie says, morning, good morning. Let's go. All right, sorry, I was over here so focused on the movement, I wasn't looking at the comments. Olivia says, my account is going more and more negative, went from minus 900 to 1500 in 2 seconds. I told you to stop looking at the drawdown. Nobody wants to hear me on that. Don't look at the drawdown. That's an emotional lie. It's an emotional lie. Don't look at the drawdown. Look at the margin level percent. Denise says, look at the candle on gold M5. Yeah, pretty crazy stuff. I might glance at that stuff here. Interesting. So Derek, how did you lose that on NAS 100 when we had a winning trade? You did something wrong there, my friend. We had a winning NAS 100 trade today. Denise says, took everyone out on both sides. Certainly did, didn't they? Wicked up, wicked down, wicked up, wicked down. That's the whole idea. Jamie says, I'm still good. Good. You hear a lot of background noise? There is not a noise going on here. Is there a buzz going on? I fucking hate that. Give me a second. You know what? There probably is, because I did a restart. Stand by. Let me check my settings. Yep. That was the problem. I bet you hear me good now. Son of a... I had to do a computer restart before we started, and where my speakers are gone and everything, unbelievable. Yeah, I had to do a computer reset. Everything happened so fast. You guys probably couldn't hear me for shit, could you? It's over now. It's over now because I'm a dumbass. So much going on this. I mean, I've been up all night, right? So you'll be able to hear me better now. That's probably some of the worst audio I've ever presented, because what was happening is my camera way out there in the front was the only microphone. No, it was nothing was on. It's just a terrible microphone that I had. I just switched microphones. Where was I? Let me tell you what the manipulation is that I could do to this entire thing. I will tell you this. I've been trading for what, 7 years now, 8 years. This system that we have, this AI system that we have, is the best I've ever seen. It's the best I've ever found, and I've tested more than you probably ever would. I've bought more than you probably ever would. I've gone farther with it than you probably ever would. At least 100 grand I've spent on this stuff. So what we do with this system, and let's call it, you know, my main feed, the 10 pip automation, we manipulate it in a myriad of ways. So let me give you a manipulation that I considered in the middle of the night, because I can feed a feed, meaning I'm sending you the trades. I can feed you any manipulation I want. Like, for example, my one profitable trade feed is a manipulation of the 10 pip automation. It simply takes one pair at a time. What's interesting is everybody was freaking out about 2 weeks ago that the one profitable trade feed wasn't trading enough. It would take a trade, and we ended up holding like Euro Chief or Euro CAD for like, how long? We held it for a couple weeks. Well, I would much rather have that than to be in so many trades and get blown out, you know, like most everybody did today. Not just us, but probably everybody that's trading. That's some serious price manipulation that happened. here's what I could do. I'm going to go deep on this, but I'm explaining this so you can have your own ideas. Because I'm the only one over here having any trade manipulation ideas. Everybody's like, well, the bot sucks because I blew it out. I'm like, wait, why does it suck? Because you had a $497 account, you did a 10x bid with the auto feed on all, what? No, shut up, right? So here's one thing I could do. I could separate out 22 currency pairs in this way. In fact, I'm going to go over to the group. Let's do that. So I'm in the browser right now. I'm going to open up the group, and I'm going to go back in time here to a graphic image that I posted. So it's going to take a little bit of time. And I'm going to focus 100% on this. Because if you see this and you understand what I'm about to show you, here it is. You'll get it. Might be a little bit hard to see, but these are the 22 currency pairs we trade. AUD CHF at the top with a 42, meaning that moves on average 42 pips a day. And GBP JPY down at the bottom, meaning on average it moves 164 pips a day. So if you have a small account, the smartest thing you could do, the smaller your account, the more you do this. You would trade the least volatile pair, AUD CHF, at a minimum bid, and you'd let it roll. Now, on a daily basis, you wouldn't feel like much was going on. On a weekly, you'd feel better. On a monthly, you'd go, oh, it's pretty decent. On a yearly, you'd go, wow. And here's why you go, wow. Because all year long, you'd be stressing daily and weekly, like, why am I not getting a million trades? Because you need that dopamine hit. But at the end of the year, as you slowly increase the bid because you get a feel for AUD CHF, you know what its worst days are and its best days are. You know what its movement is. You can bid based off of that. And at the end of the year, you'd be so up and so educated on AUD Chief. Okay? Now let's go to the opposite end of the spectrum. You could trade only GBP JPY. And you might get a bunch of trades, you might get a few trades, it might slow down for a week or two, but you're trading that currency pair. And because it moves 164 pips in a day, you probably want to be careful on your bid. Whereas you could bid a heck of a lot more on AUD Chief and not deal with the volatility, where you'd probably have to bid a lot less comparatively on GBP JPY. So just that one manipulation, guys, when I see people going, oh, what's happening? And they show me their account, and it's even a $10,000 account with 12 currency pairs open, half of them are 6 deep, and they're bidding a 10x. What's interesting is that will work. Might work for a couple months, couple weeks, but it doesn't work in today's market in what's been happening in the last 48 hours. It doesn't. And until you start trading for that, like I'll give you an example. Please, everyone in the comments, and I know there's a little bit of a delay, I'm going to ask you a question. If you've been watching the market today and you've got an account open, okay, I don't care what size it is, I don't care what you're bidding, answer me this one. I just got to get this answer. We all know what the answer is, but until the group can think the way that I do, we're probably all in trouble. Answer me this. If you were only trading AUD CHF today, how would you feel? And you've only been in AUD CHF since the first of the years. How would you feel? I'm going to look at the comments. Derek says, slow and steady patience, that is key. No one has patience, unfortunately. You know what? And listen, I'm an idiot. I'm stupid. I'm a degenerate, right? I blew out a couple accounts today. Not going to say I didn't. Did I know that's what was going to happen? And did I just kind of let them go? I'm like, all right, not going to survive that one. So answer that question. How would you feel right now, this morning? I'll bet you, I'm just not going to say anything. I'm gonna wait till I get some answers. How would you feel if you had only been trading? You know what? Derek said exactly what I wanted to say. Doug said the exact same thing. Livia said the exact same thing. She says it's 1 a.m. in Australia. You would all be sleeping. Does anybody like sleep? Depends on how much you like sleep. Depends on, like, you know, this is trading all these trades at a bunch of lot sizes is you're a drug addict. You need to get some therapy. You need to go to detox. I can't force detox on you. I just give you the feed because I want the entire feed so I can manipulate it. I don't think I have any accounts that are taking all 22 currency pairs. Denise says safe and sound. Yeah. Now the problem is, and I'll tell you what, I've run this data. I can run it again. The problem when I ran it is everybody took the number one data piece that I ran and they all wanted to trade it, which was, I think AUD USD was like, if we looked at the last 12 months of trading, and then AUD USD trading only that for 12 months, like tripled the account at a 6% drawdown max. Might have even been less than that. People are like, I want to trade AUD USD. You don't know which pair it's going to be that does that for the last 12 months. I tested every pair for 12 months. And listen, you can't, I can't test it on a $1,000 account and then a $2,000. I shouldn't say I can't. I don't have the time to do that. I think I tested it on, I took a $1,000 account, put a 0.05 lot size on it and just let it run for 12 months of past historical data for, you know, like last year, and it like tripled the account. And I put the exact same thing on $10,000 account and increased the lot size a little bit, and it like did 242% return on investment, one currency pair. Now, because you're drug addicted to dopamine, if you don't know what dopamine is, please go look that up. It's basically a chemical that your brain releases and it floods over your head and it makes you feel good, and it's some sort of evolutionary response, right? But go look it up. I may be right, I may be wrong, but the concept is the same. So let me explain to you how I could create a manipulated feed and do something here that is a little wild. So what I could do is I could set up a feed that takes all 22 currency pairs from my main feed and puts it into an account, a MetaTrader account. And inside of that MetaTrader account, let me zoom in on this just a little bit here. Inside of that MetaTrader account, I could manipulate every one of these 22 currency pairs in the following way. I could say AUD CHF moves, and I'm going to do round numbers here. It says 42 pips a day. Let's call it 40, right? So if our trades go for average, I call it the 10 pip automation, they go for 10 pips. So how many 10 pip moves are in AUD CHF? There are 4, okay? So what I would say is, hey, AUD CHF, bid, I can have a unique bid for AUD CHF, and I could say only take every second trade. So I'll cut the 40 in half, 20 pips. So only ever take, or for example, take the second or the third trade in the basket of AUD CHF. AUD CHF may not go into the third trade, but once a month. But guess what I could tell? So now we like, all right, that's very low volatility. I'm getting a couple trades a month from AUD CHF from this particular feed because Terry told the system to only take the third trade in a basket of trades on AUD CHF. Now, because we know it's low volatility, and because we know we're only getting very few trades on that, you might only get one trade a month. You might only get one trade every 2 months. But let's look at the big picture here moving forward. What could happen is I could say, instead of a 1x multiplier on AUD CHF, no matter what you're bidding, but we'll get to that, I could do, you know what, we'll do a 5x multiplier. So instead of this sending you a base level trade on AUD-CHF after it's gone 3 deep, if you're bidding a 1x factor and I'm sending it at a 5, you would get an immediate 0.05 or 50 cent lot size. If you're bidding $5, right, or a 50x multiplier, then you're going to get 50 times 50 cents. So you'd have a big bid on that. But you'd be able to adjust that because you're like, well, I'll take that risk because AUD-CHF is probably not going to go GBP JPY 164 pips against me. It's probably not going to. Now I got a fan on. Hold on, I got to look at something I can't see. Yep, now all the fans are going to turn on. Stand by, I got to turn up and turn this off because I can't see. Let's go to off. There we go. So do you see where I'm going here? So let's go up. So let's look at AUD-USD. It's 61 pips a day. I would say, okay, let's cut that in half to 30. So I want to take every 4th trade of AUD-USD. AUD-USD, who knows how many times it's going to go into 4 trades. But you'll only ever get that trade if it goes 4 deep. And I could send it at a higher multiply factor. So instead of just a 1 and you get, you know, the 3rd AUD-USD trade at 0.01, you get the 3rd AUD-USD trade at a higher lot size. So that's just a simple manipulation that I can do just based off of what I see as volatility, right? Like you can see it's 40, 40, 40, 50, 50, 50, 50, 60, 60, 60, 70, 70, 70, 70, 80, you know, 100. So I could basically go, okay, how many trades do I want? How many trades do I want to let it go before I enter? So let's say AUD-CHF, I put a number 2. So it won't take the first trade, but the moment AUD-CHF goes against us into trade 2, it'll take trade 2. Now the advantage of that is this look higher here. So let's say take USD-JPY, what are we, 15? Let's call it 15 trades deep today. On USD-JPY, because it moves 145 pips a day, I could say, so let's cut that in half to 70. So I wouldn't want to enter any trade before trade number 8. So I'd say USD-JPY, only enter on trade 8 and higher. And what's interesting is at trade 8, in a basket of 15, the lot size from my system has already increased. So if we just do maybe a 2 multiply factor for USD-JPY, it doesn't enter the first 7 trades. It enters the 8th trade at a 2x multiplier. So because we know it can move a lot, we're not going to bid as much. Whereas with AUD-CHF, we could do like a 5 multiplier right out of the gate. So as long as you knew that was happening from the feed, you could bid appropriately. You would know that AUD-CHF is going to give you trades that are going to be a 5x multiply factor. Okay, 5 times 10 cents. And USD-JPY is going to give you trades at a 2x multiply factor. But remember, you're getting trade 8, which might be at, let's say, a base lot size of 40 cents. So if you're doing a 2x multiply factor, now you're getting a base lot size of 0.08, right? As an example. So what's the advantage of that? You're only getting into the higher volatility trades. So I'm explaining this because I want you guys to understand the levels of manipulation that can be done here. And that's why I keep this. That's why when people say they're losing, I'm like, well, you didn't manipulate it. You weren't creative enough to manipulate it for your account. How do you get creative and manipulate it enough for your account? And I'm going to put myself out there, but you can do this. I've told a lot of people this. Nobody really ever had this idea. I do this. If you're getting my automated feed, I will give you 2 copies of it. The first copy, you need to copy all of my trades, all 22 currency pairs at the minimum lot size. minimum multiply factor. You need to copy them all to a 100K account so you can look at that on your mobile phone and go, oh, okay, now I can see through walls. Today I wake up and I go, wow, USD JPY is in 16 trades. You can do one of two things. You can then go to your copier and go, turn on USD JPY, I'll take those. I'll take all those later trades because it's going to be extremely profitable. Or you can simply use it as your own signal service, and you can go, what's the best trade to jump into today? Wow, USD JPY has went 15 deep. I'm going to go ahead and just do, like, it's went 15 deep in the buy section, right, or buy direction. So you just enter a buy trade at a decent lot size that works for your account. You don't have to be in all of the other 14 trades. It's just intelligence. It's intelligence, meaning you can see through walls once you have a data account like that. Does that make sense? Let's see if I'm getting any creative juices going here. People were only worried about all the noise that my microphone was not picking up. Do you understand the manipulation that I just explained to you? It's one of a million you could come up with. I'll give you a few others. I know there's a delay. I'm going to wait. Have I got any juices flowing for you guys? Now my coffee is cold. So let me think of some other manipulations. Denise says, have to re-listen to this again. Okay, cool. Or I'll say it again, right? What I can do is send you trades. Derek says 100%. What I can do, I'll just summarize it. I can send you trades on all 22 different currency pairs at a different depth of market. So AUD CHF probably, and I can go figure this out, right? But we'd have to have some standards. AUD CHF probably never goes more than 2 or 3 trades deep, as an example. Doesn't mean it can't go 10. So we just say on AUD CHF, only send me the 3rd trade ever in a basket. When it goes off 1 trade and profits, I don't even see it. I don't care. But as it goes farther, because the farther a currency pair pushes, the more money we're going to make, especially if it pushes to 10 trades and you're only in the 10th trade, you're going to crush it. You're going to crush it. So that's a manipulation of this feed. You can't do that on your own. I have to create the feed. I'm not going to create 70 different feeds because people will take my, like they've wanted to, they'll take my high profit feed and hold on, just got a high profit trade, believe it or not. Let me take a look at an account real quick. High profit feed. Nope. All right, we're still good. So I don't know the best way to approach this. Doug says yes, so Doug understands this. There are so many ways to manipulate this. I'll tell you this. I'm getting ready to do a bunch of hedge fund type account trading for some people that you might call bigger players. And what I'm probably going to do right out of the gate, and I'll read that in a second, Denise. What I'm probably going to do right out of the gate is only trade maybe 2 or 3 pairs on that account. I don't care how big it is. I could trade AUD CHF on a $1.5 million account all day long. In fact, I'd probably do better trading 1 pair than trading all of these. The problem that arises is when someone brand new comes in with the get rich and no knowledge about Forex, they're like, well, I'm trading the AUD CHF account and I haven't had a trade in 17 days, Terry. Maybe this doesn't work. And then on day 18 it pops and you make a $280 profit on a tiny little account because you waited and you jumped in when the math was right, when the volume was right. You know, so that's why I send out my main feed. And people love plugging into it, and then they also love bitching when they've lost all their money. Everybody's so different. I really have to emotionally let go of everybody winning because they're not going to win. But, you know, I have a winning system and you can manipulate it at the best you could be, right? So Denise says, if you can do this, it would be amazing. Would take those on my funded account. Right? Funded accounts are even tougher because the, daily drawdown and the maximum loss and all that stuff are so tight. In my experience, that the best way to trade a funded account is to probably look at it over a 12-month period instead of everybody's just trying to pull in, everybody comes in, it's just like, people come into business opportunities because they don't have any money and they need to generate some money. Probably not a good place to be, right? I always only ever did better. Look, the sun's up already. I only ever did better once I actually was already making money and didn't need money from my business or my affiliate marketing. But you're better off looking at any of these accounts like, do you want some stability? Stop trading at 5% profit every month. I bet you won't do it. I bet you can't do it. You're addicted. Stop trading at 5%. Pick a couple currency pairs, trade them. Trade them. I mean, look at GBP USD. I like that pair. Moves about 80, 90 pips a day. It has good spread. It has low fees. It's not the holy grail. You'll get raped if you trade GBP USD wrong. But you probably will do the same thing, trading AUD CHF wrong. So, Derek says, should be a 1x. Send me every fifth trade at a 2x. Yeah, you could do that. But here's what you have to understand of my example. So let's say you're taking USD CAD. It moves 70 pips a day. So here would be the math, just general. So I'd cut the 70 pips in half, so 35. So that means I'm going to take every fourth trade on USD CAD. Okay. You have to beware that, like we've seen USD CAD, what did it do? 15 trades? Well, at least you wouldn't have the first 3. Maybe I take USD CAD and I get a little more exponential. If it moves 70 a day, maybe I'm like, okay, I'll take every 8th trade, right? So, if you think about that, so it has to move 70 pips against me or against the entire system or any trade out there before I take the next trade, which is trade 8. Now, I would set a lot size on USD CAD at, let's see, probably a multiply factor of maybe a 2. Okay, so I would automatically be sending it 2 times what the base bid was. So if we're waiting for trade 8 to go off, by the time we're in trade 8, we're probably at at least a 2, if not a 4, 20 or 40 cent lot size base. So if I'm sending that to you at a 2x factor, instead of a base lot size of 10 cents, you're getting that trade at a base lot size of, let's call it 80 cents. Okay. If you're taking a 2x of that, now you're bidding $1.60 per pip. It's as simple as that. And with my copy system, you can actually bid less than what I'm sending you by using a decimal. So let's say I'm sending all of my trades at $1, 0.10. And that's too much. Like the high profit feed sends out all trades at a base lot size of $1. So, because the math we have to do that. We have to do that. Math works out better as opposed to 10 cents. So if I'm sending you trades at $1, you could go into your copier and go, you know what? I only want the trades at a multiply factor of 0.5. I want half of that, or 0.2, or 0.1, right? So you have the ability to reduce what's coming to you. So it's all of this stuff is about creativity. How creative can you get? How creative can you get? I am not in the business of creating someone that one person wants a particular custom feed, because there's enough ability on your end to manipulate it enough. Over manipulation just doesn't do anything for you, right? But I think one of the base level things you can do is reduce your number of currency pairs and focus on them. Which end do you want to go in on? I mean, you can change them all the time, right? You're like, well, I've been trading NZD USD, and I don't like the movement. I don't like the breathing in and out of that pair. I'm going to go to something else. Okay, let the trade, close out, and go on to another one. That's pretty much how I'm going to do it with my hedge fund type accounts. I'm going to trade a couple pairs, probably not. I'll probably trade one at a time, but maybe a couple pairs back and forth. And I'm going to set my system, my automated system, and you guys have the ability to do this with your equity protection inside of the copy tools, or if you're doing it manually, you're doing it manually. But I can say at 5.5%, at 6% profit for the month, I don't care if that happened in 3 days or 29 days, just shut all the trades down, stop copying, shut it off until I turn it back on again. So I'm going to do that. So when I get to 5%, I'm like, I don't need to trade anymore. Why? Because I don't need to be in the market to be in the market. I don't have to get a dopamine fix. When I'm trading for a hedge fund, 5%, they're ecstatic about that. They're ecstatic about 2 to 6% return on investment. That's incredible in the marketplace, because investors are getting 9% a year in the S&P 500, and in the last couple of years it's been minus 20%. Denise said everything is turning around in the right direction. Yeah. I'm going to look on my end at my account one more time here. Stand by. I need to pull up this chart. Yeah, for me it's still like USD JPY is still, it's still down. It's still down there. It's not necessarily pushing down, but we can go look at, let's go look at this. USD JPY. That's interesting. So this is pretty crazy. Well, I'm looking at different. Let me look at the right time frame here. Yeah. I just had to put it at the 15-minute. So it's a little lower than it was when it started up here, but yeah, it's Friday. It's probably going to go sideways. Probably going to hold all this stuff over the weekend. It is what it is. So do me a favor, like, groupthink is powerful. This is a mastermind. Go look at the power of a mastermind. It's all kinds of different ideas coming together. Don't make me be the only idea guy around here. Think about manipulations, because I'll tell you what, whatever manipulation you bring to me, I've thought about it and probably tested at least half of them. So maybe you bring a manipulation to me and I go, that's an interesting view. That's an interesting way to look at manipulating this feed. I think that like this feed works so well and can be manipulated in so many different ways. I can't imagine doing anything else in terms of trading for myself. It's the best thing, and then I manipulate it from there. Just like my high profit feed. That can be manipulated as well. I think, for example, a lot of people are taking the high profit feed and they're like, I'll take all the trades. I'll take all the different indices and US 30. I'm like, that's insane. Because the market all of a sudden one day is going to launch a US 30, a gold, and an NAS 100 all at once. You're going to go, oops, I've been making $289 a day. Now I just lost $14,000. How'd that happen? It happened because you you can never lull into the sense that what you have going is just, wow, we had a profitable week, I'm cranking up my bid. No. How much were your profits? You did 12% profit this week? All right, well, you're on an airplane that's running on fumes in the dark, and you're about to go down. So quit lulling yourself into that sense of comfort. And if you're that person, everybody has to learn the hard way. If you're that person that increases your bid every week because the market's favorable to you and you're like, I just want to make more, you will lose all of that. The challenge account that I had, let me see if I can pull this up, and then I might share it with you. Remember the challenge account? We took it from, in fact, I am going to share this with you, so let me click some buttons here. Let's see, I'm going to come back to here for now, and then I'm going to go here. So this is the challenge account. We were at about $5,500 profit, and I did this on purpose. You guys needed to see this. We're at $5,500 profit yesterday, and I had to continue to close. I mean, I was way overbidding, right? 15x bid. My margin level percent got down to about 94% last night. So I was like, well, I'm going to show these guys how it works. So I took a $3,000 account to $5,500 in about a month. And because I had to take losses last night of $3,677.53, that's not my system. That is me going, all right, I overbid. I'm going to take some losses. I took massive losses. So look at what's left in this account, $1,717. And if you look at the overall month, so the loss for the month, I guess I've had this a little bit more than, so the loss for the month is $1,552. Loss for the week is $1,800, and loss for the day is $3,677. But I got to show you that, right? This is not a live account. It's a demo. I did this for educational purposes, and I purposefully overbid. Now watch what I'm going to do. I'm going to adjust the bid on this today, and I'm going to grow it back up normally, like a normal person should, like a sane person should. And I'll grow this thing. I said I was going to grow it to 100K. I'll grow it to 100K. I'm not going to cheat and deposit more money in here and all that stuff. It's still down at 167%. That's because USD CAD ran hard. Denise says, good to see that. It is good to see it, But again, would I have done this in the real world on a $5,500 account bidding 15x? No. I probably look dumb. I'm not that dumb. That's just dumb. Mathematically, that's dumb. So I just kept forcing losses and forcing losses. I think we had, if you look at the losses that I forced, I mean, look at all these. I forced the AUD USD, ton of losses. I got rid of other small stuff. But yeah, you can see these AUD USD trades. I was closing these right here. 240, 186, 175, 156, 209, 261. I just kept closing them. Here's another one, 216. How do you avoid that? Okay. What will I probably do? Let's think about that. What will I probably do with this account? First off, I'm going to go back to absolute minimum bid. It's a $1,700 account. I'm going to go back to minimum bid. Right now, I'm only trading, what? I think I got it set for 2 pairs. Yeah, AUD USD and USD CAD. I'm going to let this close out as it is. If it blows me down to nothing, then, if it kills it, it kills it, because it was an example anyway. But I believe the price on USD CAD is going to come back. Let's take a look at the chart real quick. Let's look at a higher time frame. So here we are on the 4-hour. Yeah, it's bottomed out. I am not printing take profit into this account. So take profits, I think, somewhere up in here. So hopefully that comes back, hopefully. I hate to use the word hope. I will trade this to 100K, but I'm going to do it smart moving forward. You got a good example of how to manage. It was touch and go for the last week and a half, 2 weeks. Fun, making a ton of money, right? And I not only lost it all of the profits, but I lost another, let's see, $1,300 off of my original deposit, right? And I'm surviving, 173% margin level. If it pushes any farther against me, I might not survive, but I'm also not taking on any more trades, and I'm not increasing my bid. So I think what I was going to say is what I'm going to do here. What I'm probably going to do, so many different ways to do it, right? But to get this to grow, I'll probably put it on probably the one profitable trade feed, or I have another personal feed where I only trade like three of the current active currency pairs. That's just a custom feed. I'll probably do something like that at a relatively low lot size, and then as the account is low, like it is now, it's a low balance, $1,700, I'll look forward, I'll look at news and stuff and go, you know what, of these 3 pairs, I want to make sure that I don't have correlation, okay? So look what we got here. We're trading AUD USD and USD, my phone's going to die, and USD CAD. I don't want to trade pairs together that have the same currency pair in them. So if I'm trading AUD USD, I would not trade USD CAD, and vice versa. What could I trade? Look at the pairs over here that we closed. I could trade, go ahead and grab a USD pair, right? So I'm like, okay, I'm going to trade USD CAD. And then I'll trade Euro NZD. Okay, we're not trading the same pair in there. Could I add something to that that's also here on the list? No. So those are two good pairs. It's really, I mean, this is not the entire list. I mean, heck, if we go back over here, Derek says, example, AUD Chief trades at 0.10 and GBP at 0.01. So let me take you to the group, because I want to go back to this image real quick to make this reference, and then I think I'm going to be done for the morning. So take a look at this, again, this currency pair list, 22 pairs sorted by volatility, lowest to highest. Lowest at the top, highest at the bottom. And let me get my train of thought back. So what were we were just looking at so pairs, correlation. So I'm like, all right, I'm going to start out with the lowest volatility, so AUD CHF, great. So I want to add a pair to that. Should I trade AUD NZD? Probably not, because that's already in my first pair. Should I trade CAD Chief? Nope, because Chief is in my first pair. Euro Chief? No. NZD CAD. Yep, I could trade that one, because I'm trading AUD CHF, NZD CAD. Okay, I'll trade those two, because I'm trading four essentially currency pairs. None of the same. So I got AUD CHF. What else could I trade? I could trade USD CAD. Okay, cool. Two currency pairs together that are just, you know, of the four, two pairs, four total. There's no crosses there. AUD CHF, could I trade NZD JPY? Yep. With it? Sure. Now let's say I picked USD Chief. I could then trade NZD JPY. So do you see how I'm just not crossing I'm not doing, you know, both pairs don't have the same pair in them. I know I'm oversimplifying this, right? But I could trade AUD CHF and GBP JPY. Both ends of the spectrum. I could set up a system where I bid less on GBP JPY trades and more on AUD CHF trades. Because AUD CHF, likelihood it's going to go against me less. GBP JPY is going to go against you the most. And, you know, the USD pairs, we've seen that. USD is just, given the current market conditions and the way they're running the country, so on and so forth, it's really affecting that stuff. All right, back to the place I want to be, which is here. And that was my sample account. So I forced those losses. You guys get it. I don't see any other questions in there. I'm going to stop. A little worn out from being up all night. And the price pushed. It's probably just going to freeze there for the rest of the day. Start thinking about different ways that you think we could manipulate the feed. I have no problem creating more feeds. There's part of me that says, you know what? I probably should. It would be overkill. But what if I created, and I'm probably not going to, but what if I created a feed that I thought was good for $500 or less account? Probably shouldn't do that, right? Or what if I traded a feed that was good for $1,000 or less? Or what if I traded created a feed that was $5,000, $5,000 to $10,000, right? Type of thing. It's probably 5,000 or less, and then 10,000 or less, and then 20,000 or less, that type of thing. The problem with that would be is people would go, oh, this is specifically, and I got a $1,000 account. I'm going to turn AUD CHF on. I'm going to plug that into like my auto trader. And since this is customized and it's for a $1,000 account, I'm going to go ahead and bid $100 per pip. I'm like, yeah, you know, so people are still going to screw it up. So I certainly cannot create it to stop people from doing what they're doing. what also happens if you look at this as a business is the more options you give people, the more they freeze in their tracks. So I'm certainly not going to be dumb enough to just, create 17 different feeds. I've had people say that before. Terry, I don't know what feed, you got so many feeds. I'm like, Jesus, I'm giving you opportunities. All right, why don't you take my feed, all 22 pairs, and put it on $100 at $10 a pip? Yeah, that'll work. Go ahead. I'm certainly going to stop stressing over that. I think you guys, I feel for people, but this week I've been really stressing about, I want everybody to get it right. And what I'm going to do from now on, and you got to catch me, is I'm going to go, here's the feed. Don't overbid. Have fun. And how do I get you to not overbid? Trade it for 30, 60, 90 days on demo. Is it going to cost you? Let's say you bought my top monthly outlay of $200. You got all my feeds, all my automated feeds, $200 a month. It really gets under people's skin that they would have to spend $600 over a 3-month, 90-day period to learn something. You guys have bought courses for more than that. So put it on demo. Put it on demo and learn. Learn. That's my new English. Learn. Learn the good words. Right? Learn. Because even me that learns and knows, the market still catches me off guard because I get lulled into a sense of comfort and we're just crushing it. We're doing really well. But you got to admit, I've been talking about NFP for what? Over a week now? We knew it was coming. We knew it was coming. And we allowed ourselves to be in a bunch of USD trades. Because we don't know where it's going to go. You hold yourself off. If you want to be, scarcity mentality, hold yourself off from doing USD trades a week before any of the news. I mean, you can see the news a month or a couple months out. So stop trading those pairs. That's the part that I can't give to you. You kind of have to do it yourself. Derek says $600 chump change as opposed to the lifelong returns. Yeah. Spend $600 up front and then go for smaller returns. If you're trying to get a return on investment of $200 a month, probably ought to have at least a couple $1,000 account. You probably should have, $5,000 or $10,000 account if you're just going to jump in live and start, crazy bidding, because you're going to get a day like today and yesterday that's like, what happened? Why is my account zero? Right? It's zero because you did what I did on purpose, is I overbid, and I just kept taking loss after loss after loss to keep my margin level percent alive. And you can see it's at 158 right now. It was at 94, red flashing in my face, and I'm like, all right, take a loss, take a loss, take a loss. What's interesting is that when you do that, I still had, I had $2,500 I could lose in profit that I'd earned. Because every time I hit it, like down around 100% margin level, every time I hit a couple dollar loss, it helped my margin by 1%. It just had gone too far. It gone too far. I will do my best to help the group start getting out of these things a little early. Maybe we ought to approach this and be a little bit more skittish. What do you think? Just a little more skittish. We got some news coming up next Thursday. You know what? Let's get out of some of this stuff. Let's not trade those pairs. So I might start doing that. I don't want to I don't know if the word is overanalyze, but I just don't want to overdo it, right? Like my friend Overthinker, Derek the Overthinker. I don't want to overthink everything, because that will hurt you also, right? Let me look back through the comments here. I don't see anything else. Derek says, is there a way to adjust the lot size on each pair so that they all will average out at around the same pip to lot ratio? Probably. Tell me why you want to do that. Like, probably. I'd also say probably not. You know. All right, I think we're done. I'll get back on if I see any crazy stuff today. But did you get any value out of this? I know there's a huge delay before you even answer that in the live chat. I'm going to be back in the group, so I'll be back in the group. And I really just need to back off a little bit today and kind of get a clear head. I mean, it's Friday, there's not a lot going on. I never stop thinking about this. I want this for myself to be something that, and I've never really got there, something where it's, this is my plan. I'm just always doing this. I constantly evolve and adapt and think of it differently. You know, at some point I feel like my brain just wants to calm down and go, all right, here's how I'm going to approach it. 2 currency pairs. These 2 currency pairs move this much. I'm going to bid this much on these, and I'll look at the big picture in 12 months, right? I'll trade within some really conservative parameters, and I'll look at it, what it's going to be in 12 months. That's pretty much what I'm moving to. So Doug says, thank you, lots of insight. All right, I appreciate that. Always thinking about this. Bring me some insight. Get in the comments in the group. Let me know. I will guarantee you this. Today, because I took a bunch of notes on my mobile phone. I was laying there in bed in the middle of the night watching all of the different pairs and accounts. I would tell you, I'll end it with this, and you heard me say it, but I got to embed this in your brain. I'm going to start all of my accounts. I'm going to start focusing on, and I know this is going to sound very conservative, and I'll probably change my mind, but right now, you know what it's telling me? Start trading fewer currency pairs per account and go for 5% and stop trading for the month. That's going to seem really low, but if you look at hedge funds and you look at an offer that I have out there, which I'm not going to talk about right now, these companies will give you, some of the certain brokers and stuff, they'll give you a lot if you can produce 5% a month. You guys know damn well my system will do 25, 30, 40% a month, and then you'll lose it all because you were, making that much. But if you pulled everything way back, and that's pretty much what I'm doing moving forward, especially when I trade other people's accounts, I'm just going to pull it back. This system can do a lot. I'm just going to let it stop doing a lot. So that's the theme. That's what you're going to get from me. That's what's on my mind, and I will talk about it extensively over the next days and weeks, and bring your thoughts to the table of what you think a good approach would be for you to shoot for 5% a month. You pick your month. I think 10%, when you force it, you're in trouble. Like there is no forcing 5%. And if that's not enough for you, then go put your money in the S&P 500 and get 9% a year. Could you do 9% a month? You probably could. That's starting to push. I just know the comfortable level is about 5%. All right. Had enough talking for the day. Appreciate you joining me. I'll talk to you guys soon. And I promise to get the microphone right next time, because I'll guarantee you the first part of this sucked as far as the audio. It might even be so bad I'll delete it. All right. I'll talk to you guys later.